That was quite a debut.
A sigil. What's that? Power is what I'm missing. Hardly.
Power doesn't interest me.
Keep telling yourself that.
When did you figure it out?
I had a feeling when we first met. Even with the sigil in the way, you and your mother have the same tell.
Which is?
Very inconvenient for you. I wasn't sure until you. It's nice to see you again. Billy.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Becky.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Panels to Pixels podcast.
This is a spoiler-filled podcast about Agatha All Along, episodes 5 and 6, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power, and Familiar by Thy Side. Synopsis for episode 5. With enemies closing in, the coven flees under the light of the blood moon to the next ghastly trial, and another witch departs the witch's road. My synopsis for this episode is, what the heck did I just watch? Synopsis for episode 6. Familiar teen is much more than he seems, and his connections to the rest of the coven are revealed. Ooh.
Yeah. We are in the witching hour, everybody. It is Halloween season, and we are having fun. We're moving on. This time, about last year, or maybe the year before, we were doing Werewolf by Night with Rob Moda. And now we get Agatha All Along, which is pretty cool. And I do enjoy it. And I just love the idea that they get some spooky stuff going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Disney Plus Marvel series. And Agatha is moving along more for WandaVision, which is amazing. And I'm loving it because we're getting the continued story. But we learned a lot within these 2 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I called it at a certain point.
Oh, you did. I have a note here. One of my notes ends in, "You were right, Mark." Again,
I mean,
that's what I say.
honestly, from what I've seen on the internet and what I've looked at, it was like the worst kept secret of all. It was one of those things. It was like everybody knew that's who he was, but nobody wanted to say it because they were afraid it was going to be a red herring or that we're going to be taken off in some weird direction. So it's nice when a show goes exactly where you expect it to go. It's weird, but yeah, I'm for it. So. But yeah, Mark, you called it early on.
Yeah, I did.
I'm the lone one who was a bit clueless at the end of this, but I'm the novice. So
honestly, Becky, it's literally just me reading the comics and having had that experience, and same thing with Steve at times, where we've read it and it's stuck in our brain from when we read it so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's foreshadowing. We knew this because we were comic readers.
Well, and for me, with in particular, I wasn't totally sold until episode 4 when Rio very plainly said he's not your son. And so as soon as she said to Agatha, he's not your son, and indicated that she knows kind of who he is or knows who he's not, at least that kind of gave it away for me, to where I was like, okay, he's got to be one of the two, one of the Billy or Tommy. Yeah. And I guess I couldn't remember which one was which from WandaVision because it's been a while. Yeah. I couldn't remember which one was the mind reader, telekinetic, telepathic one, and which one was the speedster. I couldn't remember until like I said, but as soon as she said as soon as Aubrey Plaza's character said it's not your son, I knew right away. Okay, so it's got to be Wanda's. It's got to be one of Wanda's boys then. So that's was for me. And then of course we get that last shot at the very end of episode 5 with him in the crown, and Agatha saying you're just like your mother. And then of course this episode 6, we get it confirmed completely, so where there's no question in our mind. So
Yeah. And the one thing I would like to elaborate later on, we also talked about Rio Vidal. I said that she's working in with somebody who has not been shown yet or mentioned in any way, shape, or form. I mentioned Mephisto. Now, Steve, you and I, when we covered WandaVision so long ago when it was on Disney Plus,
yeah,
we had all these allusions to Mephisto within that show for that season.
yeah, and it never came to pass. That was one of those ones that like I said, that people, I think that's why people kind of backed off on this being Billy, because we had so many indications for Mephisto in WandaVision and they didn't pay off. And it was just like kind of, okay, are you just leading us down a path to disappoint us? We did get the Nicholas Scratch reference there in episode,
Yes.
which episode 5, can we just like,
Go ahead.
like I was, when I rewatched it today, I was blown away by how scary really that, like, it was really pushing the threshold for Disney from, I mean,
Yeah.
in this, in my opinion anyway, because I was just like, wow, they're really pushing the scare factor here with the contortionists and showing
Yes.
Agatha being possessed and
Oh, yeah.
some of those images were wow. So
They
I'm
went straight
impressed.
to the horror.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They brought it.
Yeah, they did bring it in the sense that it gave you those 80s slasher kind of films of scariness or
Yeah.
the imposing H.P. Lovecraft kind of movies back then that they remade in really bad B movies. Everybody, I love those as well. But it gives you those mysticisms like a Wishmaster or something like that. And it gave me those vibes. And the comedic wit of every actress that's on the show, actor or actress that's on the show that worked in conjunction for the episode works out perfectly in the sense that you get that, okay, it is giving that comedic sensibility, but giving the dramatic element of it as well as the horrific points of it. So it's kind of a meld of different genres all in one
And it
that
flows
that keep you at ease,
flawlessly.
but holding that comic book element that we all love because it's all part of Marvel, which we know it's going to overlap into the MCU itself too, because we're going to see these characters, some of them, in the MCU movies at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on top of that, my theory has always been is that, yeah, we lost Wanda a long time ago. I don't think we're going to that's not going to be the last we ever saw of Wanda.
No, not now.
MCU.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Now that we know that this is her kid, I don't know how she'll come into it, but
If it's not the end of this season, it will come out again in a movie format, or who knows, Moon Knight.
I mean, I hope so. I hope they can bring Elizabeth Olsen back at some point, in some sort of fashion to give that character. Because Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a tough ending, and we've had some throwaway lines here in Agatha All Along regarding that she's dead. And then like there was is episode 6 when Agatha is trying to figure out what Billy wants from the road, and she says something about or no, it was I'm sorry, and I'm sure we'll talk about Evan Peters reprising his
Oh
role.
yeah. Come
of
episode
Boner,
6, everybody.
of Boner.
We
Oh, that
already
was
said
amazing.
spoilers, everybody. Spoiler
Yeah,
review.
yeah. We're
No
melding. We're
surprise here.
melding these. Yeah, we're melding these two episodes together. But she has a throwaway line about Vision being used. Somebody had a throwaway line about Vision being used by Sword for parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we know that would be the colored Vision, not the white Vision, because white Vision flew off at the end of WandaVision. So we still
Yes.
have a Vision out there somewhere. But yeah, I'd like to see us get some sort of ending with these, or something with these characters again.
Yeah, same here as well. Things that we can move along right into favorite moments or interesting takes that we took from episode 5, which is Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. I really like the fact that they brought up brooms
Yes.
and the historic value of it. It's like, oh, it's so, yeah, we don't really talk about it, but it's so cultivized in media and everything else now, and in basically
Lilia's rant was
in
great.
community and everything else.
It was perfect. Like her whole thing about, and it's the male, whatever, the patriarchy showing,
Yeah.
the whatever however she put it, that I thought was great. That
It's the most simplistic spell and to do. But the funny thing is what they didn't realize is that it took them off the witch's road, and that's why they couldn't use them after a certain point. So they got crash landed anyway. And even Billy got a stick.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite notes or favorite parts that I've got here in my notes is the sight of the blood moon as they're flying. It was very bewitched.
Yes.
As each witch is flying in a line. But what I loved the most is the look of utter joy and contentment on every single one of their faces, including Agatha,
Yeah.
that they were on these brooms and that they were flying. It was just like, it made me, like, it brought me into the moment with them. Like, I feel how happy and excited you guys are right now. It was wonderful.
Yeah, they haven't done it in over 100 years, somebody had said.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them cackles like the Wicked Witch of the West from
Was
The
that
Wizard
was
of
that
Oz.
Rio?
Somebody, I forgot who it was.
I can't remember, but you're right. They sure did.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm so elated of hearing that.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was very, for me, it really called back for me. It brought back from the nostalgia of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, when they take off on the bikes, and they all have this joy of their flying. That's what it reminded me of, to see them all take off like that. But I'm right there with you, Becky. I thought it was great when you had there in episode 5 when Teen, because he was still Teen in episode 5.
Yes.
When he gets attacked by the specter
7.
or whatever.
One of the 7. I think that's what it was.
No, he got it during the trial. He got attacked,
yes,
and he makes the comment about, "Oh, I'm part of the coven now."
Yeah.
Because I've been attacked. I have now been directly attacked, because he hadn't been in the other trials. He hadn't been really affected or attacked, and so this is the first time that we see that happen. And so he's it was really great to see that elation in him, to go, "I'm glad I got attacked," kind of things.
I'm part of the coven, yay!
Yeah.
But it's what it's like when you finally feel like you fit in somewhere. It's that rewarding moment that it's like, oh, I belong somewhere, especially now that we know what he's been going through for the last however long, 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
It really added to that excitement for him.
Yeah.
I loved the Salem 7. I loved that flashback of Agatha, and her mom is not nice. I think we finally have a bit of understanding as to why Agatha is the way she is. She had no chance. But when they started firing all of their power on her, and I'm going to skip ahead and we can go back, but to the cabin scene. But when everything that happened with Alice, really got me thinking, I don't think she can control once she starts getting that power,
Yes.
I don't think she can control it. So is she truly guilty of intentionally killing Alice and the seven when I don't think she seems surprised
You talk
when she
about
was
Agatha,
tied to
right?
yeah. When she
yeah.
was tied to the stake, she seemed surprised when that power hit her. She thought she was going to die, but then all of a sudden she realizes she's not, and then
Mhm.
boom, they're all dead.
And then the same with Alice. When Alice attacks her, I'm with you that this series seems to take that idea of where she says, "Oh, I didn't mean to do it." But if you go back to the last episode of WandaVision, which I watched before I started the series a few weeks ago,
Oh.
if you go back to that last episode of WandaVision, it's very clear that she was meaning to get attacked and knew that she could draw Scarlet Witch's power in that instance. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a point where she can stop it if she chooses to, or if it gets past it, or like in this one, she has this. That was her first with Alice attacking her. That was her first taste of getting her power back. So maybe that surprised her because she didn't know. She didn't realize it would have that effect on Alice. Maybe I'd have to watch that again to.
Yeah, I will watch the first scene when her mom is. That's where it really
Oh,
hits
yeah,
me
for
that
sure
it's
she
like
didn't-
she
yeah.
didn't know that
Oh, yeah,
was capable of this. But
Yeah.
I do think when Alice fired on her to get her mom out of her, that
It broke Wanda's
it was
spell?
obvious once that power hit her,
Yeah.
she liked it. But I don't think it's like an addict is the best way I can describe it when they
Yeah.
are craving something and they cannot they get that taste of it and then they just can't
Yeah.
they can't stop.
Yeah.
She seems
Okay.
like an addict to me.
Okay, I could go with that. Yeah, I could see that, and particularly because like you said, Mark, she's gone so long now, that without any power, and that's why she's on the road was to try to get her power back or get power back.
Mhm.
And so when she finally gets that taste of power, she now has it, and so we're gonna see a different Agatha.
At
I
all
think-
costs, because we see it at the very end. She basically,
Mhm.
even Billy says it at the very end, the teen. He
Mhm.
says, "Oh, you're literally taking from these people to get your power back. Is that how it is? You
Mhm.
kill people to continue to live, and that's what life is as a witch." Just to paraphrase of,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't have the
It's like-
quote. But it's so weird for the fact that the way I thought it was when Alice did that with her and giving that power, it opened up Agatha even more. Like you said, Becky, like as if it was an addict. But I think there was still some things within Agatha that were hidden and dormant that she wasn't able to recapture. She remembered her mother. She remembered everything that happened. But I think this kind of opened the floodgates of,
Mhm.
yeah, this is me.
Yeah, no, I agree
And-
with
and
that.
that's it.
Yeah, and for sure, I think when we go into as we're going into episode 6, we definitely see that when she crawls out of the mud,
Yeah.
and she's definitely at that point where she knows who he is, the sigil has been lifted,
Mhm.
and because she said there's no need for it anymore. We know who you are, and we still okay. I'm going to digress here for a second
Good.
because
Go ahead. We do this all the
Digress
time.
away. That's what we do.
as I watched episode 6 again, a
Mhm.
couple of things bothered me. And Mark, sometimes there's little things that bother me, and there's a couple little things that bother me. And what bothers me is we still don't know who actually put the sigil on there. I mean, are we
No,
to
we
think it
do.
was Agatha? Was it Agatha or was it Billy himself that
It
put the
was
sigil?
Wanda.
It was Lilia.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. So
Because
when
Lilia
she
was
gave him
drawing that.
when
He
she
drew
gave
it
him
and put it in
when
his
she-
pocket.
okay.
But remember, when she drew it and put it in his pocket, she immediately could not remember whose jacket it was because the witch won't remember
You're
who
so
wrote the
good.
sigil.
Yeah.
That's so perfect. You're so right. That's exact. That makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Now
And
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
You've just
and
answered the huge question. That's what the sigil was in the process. It was Lily. Oh,
Lily all the
she
time.
figured out when she read his palm. She figured
Yeah.
out who he was, who had inhabited his body,
Yes.
or no, who
She
was
saw
going
it coming.
to.
She
Right,
saw
she saw that.
his
She saw it
lifeline
coming.
broken in
Right,
two.
and
Correct.
she
So
saw what was going to happen.
She knew something bad was coming, and that's why she put the
That's so
sigil on him,
brilliant.
because she
That's
did not
so
want that to
you.
come out.
And
You're
she
It
was
was
so
brilliant the
smarter.
way they
they
tied
wrote
that
it.
Oh,
together.
you're so much smarter than me. I mean, it took me. It took me. Yeah, you want that recorded, and so you can put
Please.
that on a loop.
My new ringtone.
I was so glad in the second viewing of episode 6 when I saw the moment when Billy takes over his body, because we hear his heart stop in the car
Yes.
wreck, and then he suddenly wakes up and says Tommy's name, and that was the moment when Billy Maximoff inhabited his body, which
Correct.
hey, it's quite a coincidence he just happened to inhabit somebody that had the same first name as him. Good for him.
Yeah.
But that's why he had no memory. That's why his memories were gone. Okay, so the other thing, you've cleared up one thing that bugged me about it, and now I'm disappointed because I don't have anything to. No, but the other thing is we still don't have any explanation of what changed Agatha from nosy neighbor lady to police detective. Where
She did. It's the spell.
From
It's like
Wanda, right?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, the end of WandaVision, she's the nosy neighbor lady with the bright.
Hi, y'all.
Okay.
yeah, I
and
know.
has no idea who she is. And then Agatha All Along starts out the very first episode. She's a police detective. I was so confused when the first. Go ahead.
If you remember when she's talking to the neighbor that's watering his flowers, and when she's come out of the spell,
Yeah.
and she's ranting about being a detective or whatever, and he's like, "Well, you have been on a bit of a true crime spree lately."
Yeah.
So whatever is
Okay.
it's like for me, right now I love Halloween. So if I were under a spell, I would make my world, all about pumpkins and candy
Okay.
and costumes and whatnot. But
all
in
right.
2 months, when I'm into Christmas, that's the personality
all
and
right.
thing that I would take on. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's what I gathered.
Okay. I can see that. I remember the true crime comment. It just doesn't. It just bugs me. But anyway, it's not. That's a little nitpick. That's not a big thing.
Also, it gave us the killer Mayor of Easttown parody.
Exactly.
So.
It did definitely do all that. It gave us the great, parodies of detective shows, and she's able to parody the tough female detective, from SVU,
a special victims unit.
Yeah, and we get to see the tough female detective doing her thing. So okay, I'll give it, but still. But anyway, so that's Anyway, and I do love that Billy acknowledges it, and this is the only quote, and I don't have the direct quote in front of me. Is when he's talking to her and she's kind of interrogating him in the house, and he's like, "This you're stuck in this this weird reality that you've how did he say it? You have committed to. You have seriously committed to this weird reality of yours." He's like like it. I can see you as a detective, and you've weirdly committed to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, when she had the spray, the hose sprayer as her gun, I think I watched that like 4 times. It was, but that was a cool trick that they chose to do to show us, giving us his backstory and to show us, of course, we're still in 6 and we haven't even talked much about 5, but the way they let us see all of that unfold from his point of view, which made
because it was as she thought she had a gun. She thought the pictures of the flowers were the dead body.
Correct.
And he's like, no,
she looked at the picture
look at the
thinking she was
flowers.
looking at Rio.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
That
All
was
the all
and
the
it was
things was
funny.
really
It made it
yeah.
so much funnier.
It showed the illusion right in front of her that she was under the whole
Yeah.
time,
And
under that
imagine her
character.
neighbors. That's what they're seeing.
Well, kind of like when
Oh,
she awoken and she was naked in the first episode,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, come on!" And then she just walks off naked. You know,
Yeah.
Catherine Hahn's a beautiful woman, to mind you. If she did, I'll be like, "Whoa, holy crap!"
it's like that. I'm not looking. No.
I'm
Yeah.
not looking.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap!
Yeah,
Whoa.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I can't unsee that now. I can't.
Look through
Yeah.
like holes in the fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
All right,
okay, so go ahead.
I was just going to bring us back to episode 5.
Yes,
for a
bring
few
us back to
minutes
5 because we
before
haven't finished up 5 yet.
Because
Yeah.
six is the focus, but
Yes.
I do want to talk about the cabin. The notes here I have on the cabin. I think the Ouija board was an excellent choice.
Yes.
Made me think of being,
Which
you know,
board?
15, 16, babysitting. There was
Yeah.
always one around. Did you move that? No, I didn't move that.
Again,
And,
and
the,
those
and
old-
the
those
game
old
and the
80s.
game rules.
Yeah.
ages
those
3
old-
and up.
ages 3 and up. Yeah. Spanish, Chinese, English. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clothing choices were
All 80s
very
based.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
I
very
felt like I
80s,
was
yeah.
at camp. What's it called?
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake.
Yeah, Crystal Lake, sleepaway camp kind of thing.
And
Yeah.
I felt all of the possession moments. It was straight up Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because-
that cabin scene is you know, and you know they start out with some levity with the rules and all that, and then with Agatha pretending to be
Mrs. Hart.
Mrs. Hart.
Oh my goodness, I love that part.
Was great. But then you know they broke the one rule, or they broke 2 of the rules. First off, they let go of the plantain.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then they taunted the spirits, you know, and he's like, there's 2 rules: don't take another plantain and don't taunt the spirits, you know. So they brought it on themselves, but still, yeah, I know that cabin scene is it went straight from comedy to horrific
Yeah.
or very 80s movie like
Slasher films
Mhm.
almost in that sense. Very much like with Scream, it's like how they kind of told you the rules and they broke the rules within the movie itself. So they did that within Agatha All Along, and I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
I liked it when Teen feels the drop of blood come down from the ceiling. I went to every horror movie I've ever watched that flashed through my head. I thought that was just a nice,
Yeah.
tiny little nod. Agatha, once again, not even trying to be a part of the team and participate in the trial by faking Mrs. Hart. And when Jen figured it out and she took out her retainer to fuss at Agatha was very.
I missed that.
very-
I
I
did.
missed that too.
it's
That's
so
great.
good. She's like getting ready to give her speech. And she takes her retainer out and sets it down, and I'm like, "Yep, that's pretty much how it was."
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was great, and just that the idea of Agatha being possessed, and then all of them being so willing to punish her. You know, like, oh, we get to beat up on her. Let's go ahead and do it. You know, and then you know it was funny too because Rio makes that switch where one moment she's ready to slit Agatha's throat, and then she's like, no, I'm not going to let her mom take her. No, her mom can't have her. We got to have her. You know, so it was a very much no, we have to pick on Agatha. You can't pick on Agatha kind of thing.
Right.
And we'll talk about Rio later too, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I missed her in episode 6. I was just like, I kept waiting for her to turn up somewhere, and she didn't. So I was just like,
because it was more of like a prequel, a backstory.
yeah, it was more the flashback of setting up everything. But
Yeah.
then once they got back onto the road, and we got back with Agatha and Teen, and who we're going to find out who he is, you know, I thought maybe she would show up, but
I thought
No.
so too.
yeah,
and you
and
have
I
to
don't
factor
know.
in all the casualties we're going to get on the road
Mhm.
as we get to the end.
Well,
it's
I
like,
mean, that's, to
it's
go
like the
back to
yellow
episode
brick
5.
road.
Yeah. To go back to episode 5, the ending of episode 5 is Teen attacking Agatha. And then when the other witches help him attack Agatha and get rid of her, he then attacks the other 2 witches and buries them as well. And it's like, whoa, okay. And then
I don't think he had control
No,
um
no, he was
of
very
that. I
much
don't
like
think he
Wanda.
meant to do that. He was so caught up in the moment that,
he was just lashing out. Yeah.
he
He was
Yes.
did
lashing
that.
out
But
because Alice had died in
and
such
what
Jillian.
a heart-wrenching
oh,
scene when that was some great acting by that young man to mourning Alice and then absolute fury with
Mm,
Agatha
hmm
that, she caused this and that this was her fault. And it was intense. It was very sad. And then you had just a brief moment of, almost, what's the word? Guilt from Catherine Hahn. And then she
hmm
does her amazing turnaround, and then she's back to being. And my note just says Agatha's gonna Agatha.
right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, just like as we move, so as episode 5 finishes up with that last shot of Teen's face, and we just see that little bit of the crown on top of his head, and you can see how it's definitely reminiscent of Scarlet Witch's crown on his head. That
Yeah.
we all, if you didn't know it before, and they're gonna just blatantly hit you over the head with it in episode 6, but if you didn't realize before,
Yeah.
now, when Agatha says you're just like your mother. And then we see that little bit of the crown, just the I don't know, my screen cut it off at the top, and all you could see was just the bottom part of the crown on his head. But it definitely was a reminiscent of the Wanda, the Scarlet Witch crown that she wore.
And the song, I don't know if you know
Mhm.
that
It was
song,
Billie
if you like
Eilish?
Billie Eilish, but
Yeah.
the first time I heard that song was in a Handmaid's Tale season 4 trailer, and I was like, "Who is this? I have to have this song."
It's
And
haunted.
when they played it, and he
Mhm.
showing the crown, and that was
What is it? See me in the crowd? Is that what it is?
you should see me in a crown.
Yeah, in a crown, right?
In the crown. And I was just like, and then I realized this episode's been on for like 5 minutes. It was so quick.
Yeah, it was a fast episode because episode 5. I don't know how long it actually was, but it did seem. But then episode 6 is like over 40 minutes.
Yes.
I was glad because I would have been mad if they just shortchanged just again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was very shocked that episode 5 was like 31, 32 minutes.
Okay.
And then when I watched episode 6, I was like, oh, but we got a lot more than what we were expecting, especially within the background. Definitely with Billy's, like, because with the interrogation of, well, Agatha being the investigator, she had him there. You could see his clothes are tattered. So how long did she really have him captive there?
Yeah.
And grilling him
Yeah.
during that time because they were
He's like,
starting
I don't
to
want to go back in the
shred
closet.
away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, to back up though, that car crash, that was another one of those, man, I'm surprised they didn't put a trigger warning before the episode for that car crash. When the car spins off the road and hits the tree, again, blood. Disney's just ramping up the violence and really giving it to us. So
Yeah, they're giving us that before we get Daredevil Reborn, everybody. And I can't wait.
yeah. So
Before we go into
yes, you said you had a couple
everybody's-
quotes for episode 5, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to do those now or at the end?
Yeah, let's do episode 5 quotes before we get into 6, because I think we covered about all that we can on episode 5.
Yeah, I think so too. Mark, you want to go first?
I didn't have any.
Oh, none for you, Steve?
No, not for me. I
Lucky
didn't
for
do quotes.
y'all.
Yeah.
It's all Becky.
I just have two. When Jen thinks she's talking to Mrs. Hart and Sashir's performance is, "Hey girl, you feeling better? How's your face?"
Yeah,
I just
don't
love
taunt the
that. Everything
spirits.
she
Yeah,
does is her delivery is so good. And then this one I thought was just I think it's something everyone should hear was when Lily had told Teen, "Enjoy the now. It's the only thing that's certain." I just
yeah.
really that impacted me, and I thought that was worth repeating.
That's from 6. That's when he's in the. That's
Oh,
when
it
he.
is from 6.
Yeah, that's when he's in the fortune teller
Well,
booth,
y'all are
right?
lucky.
Because
Now I only have one left for 6.
and that's a I love the again the kind of misdirect when we start episode 6. We expect that it's going to come right back to the Witch's Road and
Hmm.
seeing Billy with the crown, or seeing Teen with the crown on, but we don't. We get this bar mitzvah thing. We get this. We see Teen getting dressed with his yarmulke and getting his hair all perfect, and we realize, oh wait, this is a flashback to before everything
Yeah.
that we've seen.
His 13th
And
birthday,
because
because
he
that's
did
when
say,
a
because
bar
they,
mitzvah happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, they gave us that on the, if you watched the previously on, they said that because he asked Alice when her mother died, and she said when she was 13. That's when she went through the most horrific or the worst
Oh, and
time
he said it
in her
happened to me when I was 13.
when I was
Look at
13.
excellent
Awesome.
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah. So then we get the bar mitzvah, and that's the night of, and that's also the same night as the last episode of WandaVision. Because, they have all the alerts on their phones that come
Mhm.
up about what's happening in Westview. So we get that correspondence there. Is that right? Is that the right word? The corresponding timeline there of where we're at now. Because it is 3 years, right? WandaVision was 2021.
Hmm.
I was just looking at that today.
Wow.
I can't believe it was 3 years ago. That's
I
crazy.
know.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And reality too, everybody too. Honestly, if you think about it, we did literally get WandaVision in 2021.
Yeah. And that was the first, you also go back to, that was the first MCU show.
Biggest, yeah. And
Yeah.
it kicked the doors down, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It did. It brought me into Marvel. It sucked me into the entire. I watched. I went straight to the end game with
Wow.
Thanos, and then I went all over.
That's
But
great, though. No, well,
it really
WandaVision was
sucked
your
me in.
introduction. WandaVision was your intro, because a lot of people didn't like WandaVision. I think Mark and I, we were in the minority when we loved it. We're just, I loved
Yeah.
how they changed genres. I loved how this show is doing the same kind of thing. It's definitely a spinoff. You could call it a spinoff, a second season, whatever, of WandaVision. It's definitely, but we have that I know Mark and I both loved WandaVision a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I am with you. I thought it was phenomenal. I want to just give one nod to the guy who played Teen's dad, Paul Adelstein.
Yes.
Loved him. He's been in so much great stuff, but the top things that I enjoyed him in are Scandal, The Menu, Private Practice, and Prison Break.
Oh, okay. See,
Yep. Prison Break, I remember him from, yeah.
I have not watched those shows, so I don't. I
You should
stopped
watch.
watching.
Well, I don't know about Private Practice. It's good,
Yeah,
but it's
I stopped
mushy.
watching Grey's Anatomy at a certain point and never
When
did pick up
Izzy
Private.
started doing the dead guy.
What?
Oh no, it was.
That's when I
got
walked
much,
away from Grey's Anatomy.
I got much later than that. For me, it was when they killed off Patrick Dempsey. Spoilers, everybody, for a show from 20 years ago, however long it's been. That
Well,
was
it's been
that
on
was
for 40 years, so
Yeah,
surely
so
you've caught it by now.
so yeah, that was my exit. My exit of the show was that episode. And I was, because it was. I have a whole rant I could go on about Grey's Anatomy, but I won't. But no, I'll have to check out Prison Break. I know it's on my list of shows to go back and pick up at some point. So
Yeah, Sarah
Add
Wayne
Scandal to
Calise.
that too.
Scandal as well. I've
Yeah.
heard good things. So
I'm about to start a rewatch on that one. I just finished rewatching all of the Dexter
wow.
stuff. So I think I'm gonna go back to. It's like I love watching shows that you haven't watched in a long
Mhm.
time.
Yes.
'Cause watching Dexter, 80% of it felt like I was watching it again for the first time.
Yes.
So I was like,
I
I
feel
don't
the
even
same way.
remember that. So
Yeah.
I love doing rewatches.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
I love what I have when there's been enough period of time after. There's plenty of shows that I rewatched, but I love to give it a few years. If I can give it 2 or 3
yeah.
years in between rewatches, that really helps. I just recently rewatched Supernatural. It ended just a few
Yeah.
years ago.
I watched that for the first time last year.
That's a
Wow.
commitment. That's a commitment. If you got
It
through 15
was. I was like, is this
seasons,
ever going to end?
I love that show though. That is probably, if I ever wanted to do a rewatch podcast, I could probably do a Supernatural rewatch podcast. I probably need to give it another year or so right now because I just finished a rewatch. But that's one that I would love. I would love to do because I don't want to go off. There's
It's
so
a
much.
good one. I
It
do
is,
agree.
and I
It's
used
good.
to tell people, it's tough the first couple of seasons because they're so formulaic. But when you rewatch it after having seen it a couple of times, and you start to see all the things in season one that don't pay off until 4 or 5 seasons later, it's amazing. So
it's the writing. Literally, that's what makes it more than anything.
Great shows.
Well,
Great shows.
Eye candy doesn't suck.
Yeah, they are some good looking males there. I'm not gay, but that's Jensen Ackles. I can see.
I
it.
love that you can acknowledge a man's attraction. So many men aren't comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
and I love that you're okay saying, yeah, he's hot.
I'll give it up for. I'm not. I mean, Jared Padalecki, he's okay, but that Jensen Ackles, there's something about him.
There is.
Oh, we got a lot more.
Wow,
Jensen,
yeah.
and what, The Boys at one
He's
point.
in The Boys,
Yeah,
and he's also a
Tracker.
recurring role on Tracker as well.
Yeah.
So
Do you
I've
like
got
Tracker?
I do. I watched the first season, and then the second season just started. So I'm a Tracker fan. I like Justin Hartley too.
Me too.
Good stuff. But anyway, back to Wanda.
Sorry. All right. So we were talking about Agatha all along. So we were talking about Teen's backstory, like how they tied WandaVision and Agatha all along together. And my big wow moment was 2 things, actually. Is she did put, Lilia put the sigil on him.
Yes.
And he is Billy. And I put, you were right, Mark. Again.
Yeah, and it's so amazing when you see the way, and when they do the 3-year jump, and then he's in the car with the other boy, and he brings him in to show him all the research he's done. And he's figured out
Eddie. He shows his boyfriend Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie.
I like Eddie.
Yeah,
their chemistry was great.
I like the fact that they actually brought it true to the Wiccan character from the comics, which was, and this is true to the LGBTQ community out there. So Wiccan is gay in the comics. Okay. So they make it true to the show. Yeah. So, which is fine. But the thing is that the fact that they did that shows full props to the writing, the writers on the show. They paid attention, brought things true to it, but also brought Billy back in a sense of, I hate using majestic. It is magical for the fact that his mother is magical. So I think a lot of this is going to be magical in a certain way. And that's what we'll lead into later when we talk more.
And nods again to Joe Locke and his portrayal of when you see him, like I referenced that moment when it took me the second watch to understand the moment when Billy takes over his body, there in the car. We hear the heartbeat stop, and then it starts up again. He starts breathing, and he says that, Tommy. He says that, and he wakes up, and you see them talking about him and saying, William, and then when he's in the ambulance and he looks at the reflection, and you can just see, even though the reflection is blurred out, you can tell, particularly on the second watch, I think it took me the second watch to see how good his portrayal of confusion is about that whole thing. The moment when his dad walks in and says, calls him buddy and says, this is where you're supposed to say, why are you calling me buddy? And you can hear the confusion in his voice to go, really? Do you not call me that? I don't like you can, and suddenly you go, wait, this is not the same kid before the accident as it is after the car accident. And that's what he tells Eddie. He says, I'm not the same person. I'm a totally different person. I died. He's like, William Kaplan died in that car.
Yeah.
And Billy Maximoff took over his body, and you're just like, whoa. So now we understand why we have a change of actors, why, as much as Julian Hilliard, I think that's the one that played Billy, was so good in WandaVision and Doctor Strange, but we see why they had to change that because the body disappeared. So he had to take over a new body. Agatha acknowledges that at the end of the episode when she says, so you broke a few rules, you took over somebody else's body. It's not a big deal.
Well, it's also like what Wanda had done too in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. If you think about it, she took over another body of herself in another alternate universe. But yeah. And on top of that, the original actor who did play Billy in WandaVision, as well as in the Multiverse of Madness, gave Joe Locke props on Instagram and on Twitter as well, because he was proud of the fact that it's like he knew he was a lot younger, but they needed an older role character to take over. Very much almost like what they did with The Walking Dead when they had earlier versions of other characters that we all know that were child actors, and then they did a time jump, and it's like, well, they're not Chandler Riggs, and they don't have a growth spurt that goes that fast. But yeah, and it was really cool to see that online too. So I'm sure you listeners have been paying attention to Instagram and all the media stuff that's going on out there as well.
That's cool. That's cool that really acknowledges that. And, well, and I love that, again, this is kind of jumping to the end of the episode, but I love, or almost the end of the episode when we do see the sigil gets lifted and we replay that scene in her, in Agatha's house when she says, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm William Kaplan." And then she kind of walks towards him, with this sly way of, "I know you're not telling me the truth." And then he says, "I'm Billy Maximoff," and it goes to black. And I thought that was going to be the end of the episode. I was just like,
I thought so too, which I was like, not again.
I was like, man, that was, but then they come back to Agatha digging her way out of the ground. And we get that end scene with them on the road, which I thought was great. So,
which also leads to what the ultimate realization of what Billy wanted, which is to get Tommy. She kind of drags it out of him, stating, "You want your other half. You want your brother, Tommy." Yeah. And that was kind of like alluded to in the very beginning when he screams Tommy's name during the accident, right? Or after the accident, at that point when he takes the body. Yeah. So he needs to reconnect to his own brother. But, and a nice little caveat to go to that is that they go looking for Ralph Boner from WandaVision.
I love this scene. I love this scene so much.
Who was Quicksilver that Agatha manipulated in her own world in Wanda's Westview to make him Peter Maximoff, which is Wanda's twin brother. And he goes, "I remember everything." But the quick wit and humor and what he brings to the character for Ralph Boner, Evan Peters, is amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, I had to do a double take, and it really, honestly, I had to look it up because I was just like, when he first appeared the first time watching it, I was like, is that the same actor? Because he looks very different. He's got he's got the 5 o'clock shadow. He's all in covered up with this hat and this jacket, and it doesn't really, I couldn't really tell that it was Evan Peters. I had to actually look it up, and I was like, okay, it is Evan Peters playing that part. And then you get the connection because he played Quicksilver in the Fox. Wait, yeah,
it was the Fox universe.
Yeah, the Fox universe, and so they brought him into. When they brought him into WandaVision, they made the joke about how he was that the other guy wasn't available or something like that. They make a joke about the other
Yeah.
actor. And it's just really cool to see him in this. And he was so paranoid, and we're probably never going to see him again. But it was so cool to see him and to see him play this part of this paranoid, conspiracy theory. But hey, man, come see my one man show in Paramus.
I need to fill the seats.
I love that.
I want to give props to her shirt, the Boner Family Reunion.
Yes.
Let's pitch a tent.
Yes.
I am hoping those are being sold somewhere online
I'm sure they
because
are.
I will have one.
I caught that in the second viewing. I didn't notice it on the first time. I was like, is she got a boner family or something?
Yeah.
I couldn't read it all, but I saw
I
that
wrote that down in his notes as well.
It was so good.
I thought it was hilarious because he literally states, it's like, yeah, she took over my house. Literally,
Yeah,
she's living in
That's
his
my
house.
final quote is him talking about what she did with the house.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Let me
Go
just
ahead.
go ahead and say it.
Go
Do
ahead and
it.
share it.
He's like, she took over my house and she really ruined the market value.
Yeah.
I
we
just was
find
like,
out-
oh my God, this guy had his whole life
yeah,
absolutely
we
destroyed
find
by
out
this woman, and he's upset
Yeah.
about the market value of the house.
the house. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. He says she made me kidnap a woman and keep her captive in my house. Oh, and I poisoned a dog.
I had
And
to
it was
kill
just
a
like,
dog.
It was
now we
all
know what happened to
references
the dog. Yeah.
towards WandaVision and
Yeah.
what happened because the dog just disappears and then they had to explain. It's like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she made him do it. Oh man, it's so sad.
It is, but it was a, like I said, that whole scene with it when they get to the parking garage and Eddie's like, yeah, this is not a place I want to be murdered in, and well, this is where he wanted to meet, okay, so
So we covered,
Most.
I mean, kudos to him for playing everyone,
oh yeah,
including us, the viewer, even just his sweet, naive, demure self when that wasn't him at all. I was
I
like,
know.
you go,
Right.
boy. That was
Yeah.
amazing. And then we did talk about that he's not looking for power. He's looking for Tommy.
Correct.
yeah, yeah.
All I have
That's-
left are just a couple of notes.
Yeah,
Same
I mean
here
that's
as well.
that's a great thing you brought up is that fact that we find out here in episode 6, we find out that everything he's been basically planning this all along. All was for them to get him on the road so he could find Tommy, so he can get to Tommy. And now he's like, now that my power has been realized, I don't need you anymore. And she's like, well, wait a minute, your power is not under control. And that's what you were talking about, Becky and Mark.
He doesn't know how to use it properly.
Right. And so now the two of them are together, and it's now the Coven 2.
Or maybe
Ooh, nice
3
connection.
or 3. We did we see Rhea Vidal fall?
we did not
No.
see her in episode 6 at all. So
But
she's
she
out
was
there
part
somewhere.
of the Coven.
Yeah, and she's out there somewhere because we lost her at the end of 5. I'd have to go back and rewatch again. At some point we lost track of her because when at the end of episode 5 when he attacks Agatha, it's only the other two. It's Lily.
Yeah, she's
and,
gone.
Yeah, and so we don't know. So yeah, she's out there somewhere. She's going to come back at some point. But right now, it's Billy Maximoff and Agatha Harkness on the Witches Road going to the next trial. And I'm
Do y'all really think Jen and Lily are gone?
Oh, I'm sure they're not. I mean,
Okay,
if
because
Agatha was able to survive,
that would make me annoyed if that's
I
how
have
they
a funny
went out.
feeling there's a plot of redemption at the end of this series or the season
For Wanda?
for Agatha.
Agatha,
Oh,
for
sorry.
Agatha,
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like
bring
Wanda
back-
because
I'm in an
Wanda's
alternate
always
universe. I'll be right
references.
back.
Yeah,
But I think they will come back in some reference to either help Billy in some way or Billy and Agatha, because there is something else afoot that is in my notes. we've already spoke about this. Steve and I alluded it earlier about how in WandaVision they alluded to Mephisto and a lot of the credit scenes or end credit scenes that didn't really come into fruition, but it had all those elements that were standpoints within Marvel Comics that they did at the end credit scenes. Like you saw little images and things of that, you could piece it together. The one thing about Aubrey Plaza's character of Rio Vidal, she just so happenstancely shows up in the very first episode and awakens Agatha's view and thoughts. And that's what brings us into the culture, because she literally does a spell. But is she a witch or is she not? So my feeling is, and I always thought that Ria Vidal was literally a pawn of Mephisto to get Agatha to do what he needs her to do. So there's an ulterior motive going on. So I think by the end of the season, we're going to see and we'll see Mephisto, I'm sure. We're going to see Sacha Baron Cohen at some point. And I think in the back of my head, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, everybody, like everybody else out there in comic book land that have been speculating, that do read comics. We never saw her in, like, during the Infinity Stone saga. But in the comics, she was very prevalent and very much the reason why Thanos had to have those stones. Because
Who are you talking about?
It would be Lady Death.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the show represents a lot of it within Death. In the very beginning, we see in the morgue, Wanda dead. And then
the toe tag said Wanda. The tag said Wanda. We don't see Wanda. We just see a tag that says.
I'm just saying these are images and things that happen. We lost people. We saw Mrs. Hart gone. We saw Allie gone. Lilia, we don't know yet. Jennifer, don't know yet. But they're still around. But Aubrey Plaza's Ria Vidal kind of disappears conveniently at that point, and she's gone. But I'm thinking there's an underlining guide of evil in this to guide their path. It's either now, is Agatha a hero or anti-hero at this point? Is she on the border of like Deadpool?
Yeah.
In a Marvel Cinematic Universe? Who knows?
I mean, that's how I feel about her. It's like one minute I see good in her, and the next minute I'm like, well, you're so cruel. So who knows how it.
Well, and like when you look at the research when you go back to the research that Billy did, that teen has done, it alludes to her being involved in some of the most tragic circumstances in the 20th century. She's linked to the Hindenburg explosion. She's linked to other mass murders, or mass killings, at least mass dyings, mass slaughters, destruction. And she's kind of linked to that. And then when she's trying to count how many people she's killed, she just stops and goes, well, it's been a lot, and just kind of leaves it at that. Like, she doesn't give numbers. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. But that's Marvel. That's what Marvel has kind of become, is we have these in between characters who are, is he a hero? Punisher. You look at Punisher. He murders and kills bad guys, and he has a code, sure, but still, Deadpool, the same thing. He's got a code, but he's still kind of a bad guy in some ways. And Agatha, I don't know. Is she evil? Is she what? And I think that's what we're going to find out. Well, we won't find out fully, but I think it's going to be interesting this whole season.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I see a team forming at a certain point. I don't know why, because they usually team these up. We're getting the what is it? Thunderbolts coming out eventually.
Yeah, Thunderbolts is coming out eventually.
So that's something to look forward to when it comes to the MCU as well. We have the new Captain America film
Mhm.
with
Brave New
Falcon
World.
as the Captain
Anthony
America.
Mackie.
I can't embrace that yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's going to be different. It's definitely going to be different, and we'll see how the world will accept it. I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought it was great, and I loved how
Yeah.
they ended the last scene calling it Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I thought was a really cool title card
Mhm.
right there at the end, because we have Falcon taking on that mantle, and I like it. We'll see. We'll see if the world will take it or not, but.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, so as we get to the end of episode 6, we have Agatha and now we know is Billy Maximoff walking off. What do you expect for the next episode, or what do you expect the next trial is going to be? Because we don't have, unless we get Jen or Lily back, we haven't had their trials yet, right? We
We just had Agatha's.
We
Yeah.
just had Agatha's, and then we had
Alice.
Alice's and Jen. We've had their trials,
Yeah.
but we still have a couple more trials to go. What do you think are we expecting to see
Billy.
next week? Oh, could be Billy. Could be one for Billy.
I feel like it's going to be Lilia. I don't think they're going to. I mean, they might, because the show has done nothing by the book. I mean, not by the comic book, but by the, normal TV show layout book.
Yeah.
right.
That I feel like somehow we're going to get to the next trial, and Lilia and Jen will be there. And I think it's going to be Lilia's trial.
Okay.
Oh,
And then we'll
okay.
end with Billy's trial, and whoever's left being together to either defeat Bethesda. Is it
Right.
Mephisto?
Mephisto, yeah. Whoever
Yeah.
the big bad is going to end up being
Exactly.
at the end of, because according to IMDb, and Mark, we talked about this, or you guys talked about this, I think in the last podcast about it. It's according to IMDb, it's 9 episodes.
Yes.
So we just had 6, so we have 7. We've got 2 more episodes to. Yeah, 3 more. But I'm saying we have 2 more trial. We have 2 more trial episodes.
Yes.
We're going to have, that'll lead us to 8 being the penultimate, and then 9 being the final episode. That's going to lead us to whatever the ending is going to be. I don't know. Is that going to be? Are we going to see Scarlet Witch? Are we going to see Mephisto, Lady Death? Are we going to see Tommy come back? Are they going to find a version of Tommy? Because did he take over somebody's body as well?
Yeah.
Or what happened with his spirit? All these are questions that I'm excited to see, and it's killing me, but I love it that Disney is doling these out one a week, because
It's brilliant. I was itching for 6 after 5 ended, and
You have to wait, which is great because
it's like the old days.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's back to regular syndicated TV, and they give you that little taste, a little sousant after. It's like, yeah, we'll drop the first 2, but
right.
come back next week.
Yeah.
But no, come back next week. We're not Netflix.
Yeah,
We're going to be a little bit like Amazon, because Amazon.
we're not going to give it all at once. We're not going to give it to you
Hulu
all
does
at
that
once.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
excited, but I think we're going to get. I don't think we've seen the last of Jen and Lilia. I think Rio in the background might be doing something to help them, and I think because we didn't get any of Lilia's backstory, we still don't have Jen's full backstory,
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like they have enough to fill at least one more episode of those guys, and then 8 be Billy's trial, and then that bleeds into the finale where they all do whatever it is they're going to do against whoever it is they're going to do it against.
Yeah.
Because that was not vague at all.
Well, for you two both, that's all I had regarding these two particular episodes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm
Nope,
kind of
that's
finished
it.
with my thoughts and
Yeah,
my
that's all.
ideas.
That
That's
was a
all
good
I've got.
talk. I enjoyed that very
Yeah.
much.
I'm excited for the next one. Let's.
Yeah,
It's not here yet though. We gotta wait. So
that
Right.
is true. All right. Well, we are not the only podcasters that are covering this. So to show you some love out there to other podcasters that are doing it, Podcastica is actually doing their own with the Marvel cast. So I believe Penny and
Jim.
Jim are actually covering
Mhm.
Agatha All Along as well as
Yeah.
TV podcast industries.
Yeah, I was gonna say Derek and his
Yes.
team are
I
doing it as
love
well.
them.
And I think they got screeners, so they may
Yeah,
be
they're ahead of us.
they may be ahead a little bit. So
Yeah. So check them out as well. So TV podcast industries, go to podcastica.com for the Marvel cast and just
And
check
they're all
those out.
excellent.
They're all cool.
yes.
as
Yes,
well.
I need to
So-
catch up with them now. Now that we podcasted, I need to catch up with all those other guys that are talking about this show and find out what we missed.
Awesome. All right. So with that, where else can listeners hear us? Obviously, I'll start it first. I can be heard here as well as always on Panels to Pixels podcast. You can also hear me on my other podcast, Adrenaline Cinema Podcast on Pirate Core Entertainment Network, where I cover action adventure movies, suspense thriller movies, all the stuff that gets you, get your adrenaline going. We're still working on stuff. You heard Rob Moda at one point. You'll probably hear him on the next one when we come out with Joker 2, Joker Folie Adieu. And Becky was on that with Rob and myself, and you could hear us rip that movie apart probably, or show a little love to it to some degree.
We were honest.
We were very honest, honestly. But you can hear me there. But Rob's still working on Filmtropolis podcast. I'm also working on something to branch out more for more podcasts. Our friend Billy, who is on Adrenaline Cinema podcast, to do Interview with a Vampire with Danny, myself, Becky, Lara. We were doing that, and then now Billy wanted to branch out and do something. So I might be doing a new podcast, which just elaborates more for other ideas and interests in media, like comedy films or comedy shows, dramatic or dramedies, or even music at this point. So I'm fiddling around with it. But he will be doing Kevin Can F Himself and covering that. So if you guys have not watched it on AMC Plus, check it out. Billy will be doing that. He just recorded it. I will be publishing that probably within another week or two. And then we'll have that weekly so that way you can engage him. On top of that, like I said, I mentioned music as well. So I'll be working on that. I'm hoping by the new year I'll have that out. I promised myself I'd get it done by October. It didn't happen. But not only can you hear me here as well as Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, Filmtropolis, but also on Podcastica Network with Sandman Cast, as well as the Monarch Cast, which is also affiliation and a collaborative podcast with Wilhelm, with Ben Beck. So Monarch's coming back, everybody, for season 2. So check that out when it comes out, and I will be there with Ben again, and also to give some love to Ben Beck with Wilhelm with the recast, it's the revisited podcast.
Revisited. Yeah, they've been on a little bit of a break. I'm not sure when they're going to come back. For those listeners that know, Ben and Christian lives in North Carolina and was affected by the hurricane that went through there the last few weeks. So they've on a little bit of a delay of getting back to revisited, but they will get back to it sooner or later, hopefully. And just all our prayers go out to those people still struggling after those storms that were just devastating.
Yeah. And they're covering The Good Place now after they finished up Ted Lasso. So if you are not into it, I watched it and I never watched A Good Place. So I started watching it. I watched the first 3 episodes. They're going to be covering the first 2 in one episode and then the third on the second. I don't know if they've released anything yet, but I will be sending in some feedback as soon as they do come back.
Yeah.
And Becky?
I'm going to go back to my old school. I can be heard wherever Mark will have me.
You're always welcome. You know that. So she could be heard on Panels to Pixels podcast as well as
yeah,
Adrenaline
sorry.
Cinema podcast, everybody.
And as
What
for
he
me,
said.
as for me, obviously you can hear me right here on Panels to Pixels podcast. I also send voicemails to various other podcasts that our friends do that indulge me on letting me
they're
send
epic.
voicemails to them. Thank you so much. I've been a little bit of a break this week. I've had some issues, and I haven't even watched Daryl Dixon this week, so I'm totally behind.
I'm behind by
I can't
3
wait.
episodes.
I can't. Promise me you will leave a message for this one because there's so much that I need to hear your thoughts on.
I missed this one. I'll send him something on it. I may not do a live Steve for La Invisible. I think I haven't watched it.
You have to.
I haven't. I'll try. I haven't watched it yet, and I'll see if they'll play it. Sometimes they don't. Anyway, yeah. So you can hear my voice on various other podcasts that our friends do. Obviously, the cast of us that's doing they're watching The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol. I like to say the whole title every time I do it because it's TWDDDBOC.
Wow.
That was
impressive.
Thank you. I practiced. But yeah, so you can hear me on various podcasts that our friends do when they allow me to indulge me in sending those voicemails out.
Awesome. Also, to keep you listeners apprised, too, of what's going on, I kind of mentioned Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. Jamie Dimmick and I will be back doing a little bit more. We're trying to get a little bit more out there for the Halloween season. So we're going to be doing Friday the 13th, Part 5. We're recording this weekend. Right now, we're recording on Thursday night. Hopefully, this will get to you by Friday, Saturday, depending. And then hopefully by then, Jamie and I have recorded Friday the 13th, Part 5, our coverage on that particular movie, because we want to continue with the Friday the 13th coverage. But also keep in mind, panelers, we also will be coming back with Invincible with the new season, because the Part 2 is coming back. So Jamie and I will be back for that. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait for that. More Robert Kirkman content in animated and explicit form. All right. With that, we did not really put out any feelers on this particular episode, I don't think. I think I put something out for episode 5. We didn't really get anything out there for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that. But for those of you that want to send some sort of feedback, it's very easy. All you have to do is go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/panels to pixels. There'll be an image there, whether it be an old one or not a new one. You could easily just put in a message saying, hey, or through Facebook Messenger, and we'll get it and I'll read it. If there's one dedicated specifically for the episode, like I did with Snowpiercer for Agatha All Along, for all the other episodes that we've done, all you have to do is put them in the comments below. And what's on Facebook goes into Instagram, and I get them simultaneously. We'll read them. If you feel that you don't want to do that, well, you know what? You could just email us like the old school way. Just send out a regular email, and we could be found, and you could write that to panelstopixels1@gmail.com. That's panels, and 2 is spelled out T-O, pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. And then we'll read that email out that you wrote out, and then have it on the podcast. If you feel that you don't want to write anything, we have all these cool, nifty devices that everybody has, like phones, cell phones, iPads, computers. Everybody's had Zoom. Everybody has a way of recording themselves and their voice. So you can easily just record your thoughts, send it to me as an attachment in the email through panelstopixels1@gmail.com, and we'll play it. And that's just if you're on the podcast itself, and we can comment it as we're listening to you talk, and it'd be amazing and be fun. I already mentioned Instagram and Facebook. Please follow along, subscribe to those particular formats. Follow us as always. We could be found on YouTube. You could actually listen to the podcast on YouTube podcasts, as well as the regular YouTube channel. And we do get people who do. I think the last episode got like 108 views.
That's
Very cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
honestly, you guys are either listening, jumping onto it, looking at it, and go, "Oh crap, this is a podcast. I got to go to a YouTube podcast, or I got to listen to it on podcast." So with that, we still do get messages through YouTube from when you do that. So if you do send a message through YouTube, I still get it. It comes to the email. So we will read it as well. And we have done that in previous past because Becky remembers that, hey, we brought up something about Snowpiercer and we covered that a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Nice.
was fun. So, and also with YouTube, you could easily subscribe, ring the bell, and give us a thumbs up. And as always, with all the other podcast players of choice, like you got Apple Podcasts and Spotify, there's always a rating or review. Please do that. 5 stars are always welcomed and happy and appreciated. Thank you very much. But leave comments if you do. Honestly, I love when people are honest. So, I do take things with a grain of salt. So if you do say something negative, I'll take it. And if it's something that you say judgmentally that you want changed, we'll take it and consider it. And if not, you could come on here and we could talk about it. But that's your choice. And that's, like I said, you could always email us and let us know. But anyhow, that's about it for our coverage for Agatha All Along on Panels to Pixels podcast tonight. We will be back for episode 7, which we do not have a title yet for.
Oops.
Nope, we don't, because they
Oh,
haven't
it's not
released
out?
it. Yep.
No,
Okay,
not yet.
good.
That's right.
Like, dang
Yeah.
it. We did it again.
Gosh,
No
golly,
title
darn
yet.
it, we didn't do it. All right, so good night and spooky dreams, everybody. I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Becky.
And I'm still Steve.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.